just on the way to the town, which I think is pronounced Lavenham. I think it's Lavenham. I think it's rather the number one or one of Britain's best preserved medieval towns.
Yeah.
Which sounds really cool.
Might try and get some video of it as well when we get there. We'll just turn the camera around. And maybe, when we get closer, it might be interesting. You never know. Put it round though so people can see at home. So
it's one of I think it was like one of the richest towns in Tudor England because it's like a wool town, so they're really big. I think they have pretty much the monopoly on the wool industry.
Yeah, is that where they did they purchase wool from farmers from elsewhere and they were just good at processing it, or was it that they had a lot of sheep in this area and actually sheared them?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure because this is actually like a cluster of wool towns around this area, and there are still some working wool mills today.
Yeah, I haven't seen many sheep, and I'm Welsh. I can find sheep anywhere.
Yeah, I've seen loads of signs for farms.
Yeah.
Can't find the sheep though.
No, like where we live.
I see you farming buttercups. I see loads of those.
We live in the valleys, as we said before, and literally you cannot look out our window without seeing a fucking shape.
Sometimes they come right up onto the pavement.
Yes, they even come into our street. It's annoying. And whenever we drive, and wherever we drive, there are sheep. I mean, if you've been paying close attention to our back window, you may have even caught a few, because, every now and again they do show up.
In fact, it's a brilliant picture we should put up somewhere, which is one of those ones that we had the camera like we have now. And, we took a picture of the road as we were sat there for about 25 minutes. Just sheep blocked.
Yeah. Oh, no.
They're better than the cops, you think about it. There's a criminal, on the loose in Wales. I'm surprised they don't just go, right, open sheep gate. Because those sheep are suicidal or really smart. And they, have a grudge against people. So they just like to
My
sleep.
sister Rachel has a story about when she ran over it, or she was in a car where the car ran into a sheep. And apparently it bounced a ridiculous distance away. Just weirdly, just sprung off the bonnet and just into the distance like a cartoon.
I hope it was okay.
I'm sure it was.
Maybe it's all the fluff installation.
Yeah.
They bounce
Sure.
that'll be okay. Oh my goodness, sorry. I'm just looking there. Oh wow. Okay, maybe we'll give it a go. We just passed this place. I had no idea just how close that was. That I really wanted to go. It's Hiltman's Hall, I think. Hiltman's Hall, and it's got this kind of legendary, the ghost of this little boy there. And apparently on the staircase there's a wax dummy of this boy. And I'm probably gonna get this all wrong now because it's all the Google information in my head. And the thing is, supposedly if they remove the statue, you should get a hit back. So they keep it.
I get what you're saying.
There it is, right there. On the right.
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah.
Big pink house. You people at home can't see it, but fuck you!
But it's a big pink man.
Yeah, you might actually be able to see it in the background now once I turn this corner, if the van doesn't completely block
white
it.
van.
Yeah, the white van's completely block it.
But
I saw this thing, I can't remember where the study was, and it's really annoying when that happens. But basically, they took a house, okay? And really unassuming just house, actually built quite recently as well. It was a new house, modelled to look, somewhat rustic, let's say. And then they got 2 different families to stay in the house. The first family, they told them that it was a new house, that it was, built to look very, rustic as it was, and that it was, kind of going to be used as a holiday home, and they basically wanted a test family to, have a go, so they were going to get a free holiday in this really nice part of, the countryside. So, they were the control group, okay? Then they had a second family, okay? And the second family, again, the same house, nothing done inside to the house, nothing done outside to the house, nothing has been changed in any way, except with the second family, they told them that it was an old Victorian kind of cottage that had been there for ages, and that basically a load of, not to an incredible degree, but someone died there, a child, and his ghost still haunts the rafters, sort of thing. And they spun this kind of ghost story that was, it was meant to have been frightening, though. It's not comforting, oh, he passed and he, it's meant to put the people on edge. And you had this thing where the first family, perfect night's sleep, Loved the place. This guy behind me is pulled over too quickly because he's a cunt. Anyway, the first family report having a really nice time, you know, go about their business. The second family talk about how they hear all this stuff throughout the night and how, you know, it was the worst night's sleep they've ever had and all this kind of stuff. And the thing is, the first family were sold it on the pretense of a free holiday, and the second family were sold it on the pretense of kind of doing ghost hunting, you know, that sort of thing. And I think it proves that it's all about the mindset you go in with. If you go in expecting ghosts, you'll see ghosts. Whereas, hear ghosts. Whereas if you go in not having any kind of preconceptions about the place, and if it's not overly like gothic on the inside, like overly just, you know, to put you in a sense of unease, you won't. But it does. Honestly, the place doesn't matter. The place doesn't matter for making you believe there's a ghost there, right? It's weird because obviously if the place is modelled to look scary as fuck, it doesn't matter, you know, pretty much who the person is, they're gonna be on edge, you know? But the place could be the most unassuming, like, red row house of all time, but if you told someone it was haunted and came up with this backstory and everything and gave sufficient evidence that something bad happened there, not evidence of like a ghost being there, you just tell them that.
Yeah, like you could take, sorry, I was just thinking, like, you know, like obviously like churches, graveyards, sorry to cut off, stuff like that, people expect it, it fits, but you could take, like you said, like a nice modern red row house, and then you could kind of say like, you know, like make a fake like market price thing and be like, there was actually, you know, like a man
the builder got crushed alive.
I think the husband, you know, he had like some kind of mental illness, and unfortunately he, you know, attacked his kids and his wife, and the kids are fine, but you know, the wife is okay, but unfortunately his son, you know, died. You sort of like, if you give like basically like the red rum sort of shining story onto a normal house, you can,
and I think it's very it's interesting because of human psychology, because like the staunchest atheistic skeptic in the fucking world will still get paranoid if the house is, you know, got a massive reputation and is scary as all fuck, because we are creatures with, firstly, ridiculously overactive imaginations to an incredible degree, and we're also kind of flight creatures as well. You know, we have fight or flight, but a lot of the times when we can't directly visualize a threat, we default to flight. So this fear response will almost always come up. And like, even with me, I'm a massive skeptic. I laugh at the face of fortune tellers, and I really do not believe in ghosts in any way because there's no real scientific evidence of it. But I would never stay in a house that has a reputation for being haunted, because I know I wouldn't fucking sleep. It would be painful as all hell for me, because I know that my imagination is really overactive, and I am a bit paranoid, and even though I know there's nothing there, I still, every creak, every snap, would be just like, oh, what the fuck?
Because I think it's the same, well, it's not the same, your brain's not doing the same thing, but it's a bit like, I think, when people find it difficult to understand, like, how can you say you don't believe in anything, and then still get freaked out. It's a bit like, if you're watching a horror movie, you know, like you know, there's, you know, a bunch of kids out in the woods, and there's a guy going around with a machete, knocking them off, even though, you know, I'm watching a movie. These are actors. I know these actors, even. But if you're sat there in your living room, especially dark, on your own, watching a horror movie or something, you still get scared. If it's a good movie, you should. You know, it's horror movie. And even though you know that there is no harm coming to any of these people, that all these people are actors, this whole thing is completely fake. And just been, you know, purged out by Hollywood or something, but you still will get afraid because
I don't think it's a bad thing either.
The brain is indulging in this fantasy.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's great. It's kind of evidence that we're able to get invested in things and put emotion into things that aren't necessarily that important, but the experiences we go through, they are important because they change us as human beings. Like, fundamentally, they change us. The trick is not getting carried away with the fantasy, though, and recognizing, you know, reality from fiction. But, you know the old saying, there's no atheists in foxholes, okay? I agree with that saying, because we have evolved specifically to always try and find an exit route no matter
Survive.
what. Yeah, an exit route. So, literally, if we are in a situation where there is no other alternative, there is fuck all else, we have no power, no control, of course our brain is going to default to something like, you know, the giant spaghetti monster in the sky who can come and save me. Because we don't want bad shit to happen to us, and we are so desperate to get out of that situation that we will make up myths and monsters to save us.
I think it's a bit like if you took an atheist, for example, and you know, you got him kidnapped or whatever, and you put him in this cellar or this box, and you get someone to say to them, you know, you're gonna get killed. You know, like a butcher, you're gonna get murdered, whatever.
It doesn't
When you
even
have,
need to be that
no, I'm
extreme.
just saying that
Yeah.
you have no way of getting out of the box.
Yeah.
You have no way of finding out. You have absolutely no other options. You are going to die.
Yeah.
Because we're programmed to survive, and we have, you know, great imaginations and stuff. The thing is to go, like, the whole belief in God of, like, there's a second life. No, I am going to keep living. Like, please, like,
And I
rather
got-
divine intervention to save me in this life, or the
Yeah.
thought of this isn't the end. Because nobody wants to go and sit back and be like,
And the thing is,
the
as well,
end.
it's not a bad thing either, because actually, it's really good for keeping you alive, because even though, you know, you wanting it to be, a god isn't going to suddenly burst into existence and save you. This isn't, you know, the Discworld. But it is enough to calm you down so that you can actually think of a logical solution to get out of a problem. Like, that is the reason for it, to keep you calm. But the best example I've seen of the no atheists in foxholes kind of argument is actually another YouTuber who I am awfully fond of, by the name of The Amazing Atheist, which, you know, some people may have heard of, especially if you're, like, active in the atheistic community. You know, love him or hate him, I think he's a good guy, genuinely. I don't agree on all of his points, but I think he's, you know, he's honest, is the point. And he actually says what he believes. But he told the story about when, I believe it was his father, was dying. He was on his deathbed, and he was on the way out. And he said that in that moment, he started trying to call out to something that he wouldn't have described as a god, admittedly, but he described it as like a higher power, something bigger than himself in the universe. Like, he calls out to the universe to, like, save his dad so he can have just a little bit more time with him. He admitted that, he was honest about it, and he, like, said it, even though he knew it would be used against him.
Yeah.
So props to him for that. Genuinely, that's a really big thing to do. But again, it's the thing of, this guy is a super staunch atheist. He's in his fucking name, and, you know, he's committed his life to this sort of this strand of thinking about skepticism and atheism and all that good stuff. But he's still, in that moment, resorted to looking for something greater than himself to save him from this situation. And, you know, the logical part of his mind would have said, well, no, nothing is gonna save you, this is it, you know, it's gonna happen. But a part of him wanted something to come and save him and, like, fix his situation, and obviously it couldn't. But I guess, you know, in that moment it gave him enough to calm him down so he could actually go and be there for, you know, his dad. And that's the end of it, you know?
I think, like, for me as well, like, a personal experience, again, it's not about a god or something, but when my great-grandma passed away, I was quite young, I was about 11, but I experienced it again when her husband passed away, my great-grandfather.
Yeah.
I was a bit older then, where we went to their house, and I'm sat there in their house, obviously I have all these great childhood memories of being with them, and, you know, sort of like holding, you know, stuff of hers,
Yeah.
and things like that, and I didn't want a ghost, instantly I wanted a ghost of Papa, but I wanted to believe, like, that I could sit there quietly in her room, and I
Yeah.
wanted her presence to be there so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted that last, like, intimate moment of,
Yeah.
like, connection with my grandmother, and I sat there and I felt like, I think, you know, obviously the room, it smells like her, and she was a massive fan of lavender, and I got, like, you know, one of her lavender, she had so many lavender things, everyone got something lavender, and I was sat there, I remember, with this, like, little lavender pouch she used to keep in her drawer, and I think because her smell was there and her stuff was there, it felt like she was there. I spoke, you know, I was speaking kind of thing, in my mind, I think, I don't know if I spoke out loud, but basically, I sort of, like, it wasn't about thought, I believe that my grandmother's ghost was here, and I believe in having a conversation, but upon reflection, that is what it was. It was, like, just, I had sort of surrendered my mind to believing she's still here, because obviously nobody, you know, it's not like somebody dies and you're like, okay, even if you, you know, believe, like we do, you're dead, that is the end, be all and end all of everything, which makes life all the more precious. you're not gonna just sit back and, you know, in the moment of grief, because grief isn't. I think that's what the thing. Whether it's desperation or grief
Yeah.
and fear, that's not a stable like mindset. So I think it kind of
Yeah, it's
you sort
our
of
thoughts are
deviate
compromised.
off logic. No one stays logical in such emotional situations.
I mean, like, on the sense of, like, the death thing, I've always had a bit of an odd reaction when it comes to death. And kind of emergencies or tragedies in general, which my brain kind of... There's obviously the initial flood of emotion, but then the second that starts, it's almost like my brain slams on the brakes, divorces emotion from it completely, and I go like Vulcan for a while, where all my thoughts are connected to, you know, what can be done to fix or lessen the impact of this. Like, when it comes to death, I've had people die in my family, but to be entirely brutally honest, never anyone I knew or was so close to that it affected me in any great way. So I don't know how I would react to that, you know? So the closest thing I've ever got to getting like that, I guess, was when having surgery. But even then, I don't know, I don't think I have been put through enough stress in that way to actually do it yet. But I know outright that if I ended up in that if I ended up in a real situation where something bad was happening to me, I would so, you know, make up my own spaghetti monster to come save me. It's just, I know I would, you know? Oh, Levenham.
Yay, we're here.
Okay, so I think that's the end of this video then. You know, thank you for watching. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Goodbye all.
Tune in for more happy stuff. Yay! Like death. I'm killing you with the journey.
Woo!
Okay.
Next time, torture!